This is the Zac Anesbury Show.
Welcome. On today's podcast clip, we have the head of marketing of the Collingwood Football Club, Karina Whiteford. With all of these moves and quite strategic moves, you don't just on a whim just be like, no, I'm going to quit this job and something might pop up or whatever. They are very smart, calculated moves. Like you haven't, or it doesn't appear from the outside that you're just winging it, for example. Now, the reason I bring that up is because is this something that you, I don't know, for lack of a better word, consult with yourself? Or do you have mentors in your life that you're like, look, I'm feeling this way about my current role, or I'm feeling this way about what I want to be doing in the future, and then your solutions-based arguments. Do you have a mentor in your life? And you don't even have to name them. It's about just discussing whether they've helped you or anything.
I'm glad you brought it up because I have about 6.
Okay.
So
I think you've taken the record so far of the people I've interviewed.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, certainly. And I think on paper and even as I'm talking about it, I probably sound much more confident and much more happy to take risks than I actually am. I'm actually very calculated. That's a very good word to use because and it comes down again to that self-awareness and everything like that, is just I know what I need to feel comfortable to take risks. And mentors are one of the best things that I've ever sort of engaged with in terms of my personal development and my career development, because I think the concept of a mentor is you inherently trust that person to give you feedback, whether it's good or bad. And I think that the best thing about that is that you, by engaging in that relationship, whether you make it a formal mentorship or an informal one, you are inherently telling them, I trust you to tell me bad things because I'll believe it.
Yeah.
And I think when you tend to go to people to problem solve as it happens and say, this is what's happened to me, my contract's ending in a month, I don't know what to do, it's quite superficial. And I think having someone that can sort of soundboard you, not necessarily solve things for you, is I literally wouldn't be in my position if it weren't for the record-breaking 6 mentors I have. So
I'll see if I can find someone with 7.
Yeah, and it's true. Like I'm really big on it again. Like the whole preachiness is really coming through now. I encourage it in everyone that mentors are the most valuable thing you can do for your career because of the trust.
I want to dive into that a little bit. I mean, it's all about the trust, and they're very valuable. And I think, especially because of the half a dozen that you've got, do you use each of them for different reasons?
Absolutely.
Or different areas of your life or something like that? And like I said, you don't have to obviously name these people, but it's more about trying to give everyone an understanding as to how you've best maximised the use of their time.
Yep.
Because, they're very busy, successful people. You don't ask a mentor who's not doing well.
True.
So how to maximise their time and how to maximise your ability to get from that relationship. So what are you trying to get from it, and how do you maximise that for both parties?
Yeah, well, I think it's about identifying something that they can help you overcome, or something that you see in them that you would like to emulate in yourself. So I have probably, most of them are friends, but there's probably a few that are probably personal and professional mentors. And I say that because, and it's a female thing, I'm going to go down the gender thing. But,
totally fine.
As a female that's trying to forge a very ambitious and driven career, there's obviously things that are factored onto that are personal. So I have 2 female mentors. Both are highly successful in very senior roles with businesses on the side as well. So that very, very accomplished, successful women, and just navigating the conversations around family and split between personal and professional life and things like that. So they've been absolutely fundamental for me in understanding how, what, when do I address things, and how heavy do I invest in my career, without sort of forgetting about my personal life as well. And And so getting out of those particular mentors is that balance between personal and professional. And then others, it's just been traits or things that I think they can help me overcome. Okay. And certainly it's always been factored on the basis of the personality as well. Like if I think that they would be open to that sort of relationship. And just understanding what they can help contribute to me and if they're just open to helping. So I think they're all just genuinely nice people. So regardless if they thought they could help me or not, I think they've just been nice and said, yeah, sure, I'll give you some advice. So
I think one of the things that people often feel with mentor-mentee relationships is how do they go about starting? You know, say they admire someone's career, or they love a certain trait within this person, or they feel like in your situation, how can I balance personal life with career life, especially for the role as a female? How did you go about establishing these? Was it a very excuse me, sir, or was it something that sort of just naturally developed?
Yeah, I think with each of them, it's been different. Like one of my mentors is a very, very good friend of mine, and I sort of just said to her in passing, I was like, look, I'm kind of treating you as a bit of a mentor personally and professionally. I hope you don't mind if I ask you a few questions every now and again, just about like keeping me on course and like really just soundboarding things. And then others, it's sort of been, it's quite organic. So I'm a big fan of internal mentors because I think that external ones are great because they can give you career advice from their point of view.
So you mean from your organisation?
Yes, yeah. But
Which is difficult for you because you...
move on a lot, yes. No, well, just in terms of understanding the landscape you work in as well. And I think there's a general advice, which is kind of idealistic sometimes, and then there's realistic advice in terms of I understand the people you're working with or the project you're managing or the challenges you'll overcome, and I can help you from that really internal point of view. So one of my mentors was, I remember I presented a thing to exec, something that I had worked so hard on, and I sat down around the table when I presented it to the executive. And I remember after that meeting, I thought it went really well, was pretty happy. And this senior leader pulled me into his office and said, hey, I just want to give you some feedback. I think next time you present, you should stand up. And I was like, oh, okay. I hadn't even thought about that. And he said, look, your personality is so outgoing. You're so easy to talk to. You're funny. Like, you're very personable. You need to take serious moments seriously. And that has stuck with me ever since. Yeah. And so I said to him, thank you. I love that feedback. Can we make this a thing? Can we have like a mentor minute once every few weeks and just chat about things in terms of my career development, next steps, feedback about how I go about, becoming a senior leader myself. So there's sort of like a bit of a naturalness that I found with my mentors. The internal mentor I have now was a bit more formal. I sort of approached and said, look, this is a challenge I would like to overcome in my progression to becoming a senior leader within sport. And I think that this is something you can help me with. Can we work through this? And he was more than happy to, because I sort of presented the challenge as the purpose of the mentorship. So I think there's you just got to vibe based on who the person is and your relationship with them. And certainly the response will be based on that relationship anyway. So if it's formal, someone you don't really know, you're probably more at risk of them sort of feeling uncomfortable themselves with sharing advice. But with others, probably a little bit more natural. Yeah.
Feeling the vibe of the conversation and the person themselves as well. Because it can be quite a close relationship.
Yes.
In that sense, because they get to know you and I suppose your vulnerabilities in some sense, because you're really being like, this is where I need help.
Absolutely.
And exposing yourself in that situation and to be able to get that trust to be able to move forward. Hey guys, it's Zac Anesbury here with just a couple of quick reminders. If you've enjoyed today's podcast, then make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. There are plenty more interviews to come with some of the world's leading marketing academics and practitioners. You do not want to miss these. In the meantime, if you're looking for another way to connect, then follow me on Twitter at Zac Anesbury. That is ZACANESBURY for my take on the marketing issues of the day.